Now, a new survey out from the Salvation Army has found that 1 in 20 vulnerable people are being forced, forgive me for this, but this is a raw fact, being forced to eat from rubbish bins. More than half of disadvantaged people are skipping meals. 23%, according to Salvos, are eating expired or spoiled food. This is Australia in 2025. Joining me now in the studio is the Salvation Army Major, Brendan Nottle. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened, Steve, was the Salvation Army conducted research amongst 3,500 people that access our services. And you look at the data and it's horrendous, but it's even more horrendous when you stop and realise that those stats are actually human beings. So it's people that are doing it incredibly tough, and we see it every day. And the concern for us is that people are really struggling to look after themselves and look after their families, and they're doing all they can to get food on the table for their kids. But what they're neglecting to do is look after the essentials. So we had a man coming in who had massive headaches, and he ignored them because he thought, how on earth am I going to pay for the doctor's bill? So he kept putting food on the table for his kids, ended up with an aneurysm which burst. It was just a miracle that he was saved by medical staff. But you see that stuff not once or twice, but day in, day out, day in, day out. And it's tough, really
I was
tough.
thinking about this just the other day. I mean, you know, I had to have a heart checkup, which when you get to my age, you've got to do it. These people would not be able to afford to do that. They would be ignoring their own health. Dental.
Absolutely. Yep.
I mean, are we seeing a new generation of working poor?
Oh, there's no question. So we actually physically see it every day and every night where there's a group of people coming in, and you actually see them, Steve. They come in their high-vis gear, so they're out working. They're doing everything they can to make ends meet, and they can't. They simply can't. So rents are going up, energy bills are going up, and you just have one slip-up that's inevitable. You know, you have one issue in a family, which it could be a medical issue, and then the bills roll in, and people, that just tips people over the edge.
You and I have known each other a long time. Is this as bad as you've ever seen it?
Oh, no question.
So it's getting worse each year. So what are governments doing to help?
Well, I think, Steve, that the issue is that it's getting worse, but there's no light at the end of the tunnel. And that's making it incredibly difficult for individuals. And I think for governments, we actually need governments. Don't sit in your office and come up with policy. Actually come in and listen. So come into places like we run. So the Salvation Army's got over 2,000 centres around the nation. Yep. Come and listen. And not only listen to how bad things are for people. No, not enough. And we need not only people to listen, but we actually need them to take on board some of the suggestions that people are making, because the people that are in these situations that have been described in our stats, they actually have ideas. They actually have ways through this. So we need to be taking their suggestions on board as well.
If you walk down Chapel Street, which I do on a regular basis, I would see 6, 7, 8 people sleeping in doorways of abandoned shops.
Yep. And it's getting worse.
3 degrees one morning this week.
Yeah. So, Steve, the issue often is contained to cities. It's no longer contained to cities. So it's spreading out. But it's more than that. It's actually not just spreading out on the streets. It's spreading out in vans, and it's spreading out in cars. So we see individuals, but we're also seeing families that just can't make ends meet. So they're living in their car or in their van. And we see people too, Steve, who live in their van, go to work the next day, come back and live in their van again. And it's like, the really confronting thing is, as you said in your opener, this is Australia. This actually shouldn't be happening here in Australia.
Red Shield appeal is on this weekend. How can people donate? How important is it?
Well, there's two things, Steve. We're wanting to raise $38 million. So that's this weekend and up until the end of June. So people can go to 13 Salvos or salvationarmy.org.au, and whatever they can give will be gratefully appreciated. But I also want to say, if there are people watching tonight who know someone that's doing it tough, get them to ring the number or get on the email to salvationarmy.org.au and reach out for help. Because, Steve, when we can get people into our doors and they start to realise they're not on their own, you can actually see lights go on, you know, in people's eyes, and people go, oh, there's actually hope here. You know, it's not a hopeless situation, and I'm not on my own. So we want to encourage people to give, but also to reach out if they need help.
You do great work. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for all your support.
Good on you.